Zara Williams had always believed that hard work could build anything: a home, a family, even love. For 25 years, she lived by that principle, waking before dawn, working past midnight, building a life that everyone admired but few truly understood. Her friends envied her house in suburban Chicago, her 2 grown children, and her husband of nearly 3 decades. From the outside, it looked like success. But inside there was exhaustion, the kind that creeps into your bones and becomes invisible to those around you. At 51, Zara was a senior accountant for one of the city's largest firms. She had started as a clerk, typing invoices and filing receipts, while juggling a newborn and a husband still finishing graduate school. Just a few more years, Aaron, her husband, would say, and we'll have stability. Zara believed him. She worked double shifts, skipped vacations, and lived with quiet determination. She handled the bills, the mortgage, and the growing cost of 2 children's education: Maya, the elder daughter, and Noah, the dreamer who never quite found his footing. Money was never abundant, but Zara made it stretch. Every Christmas, she wrapped thoughtful gifts even when her hands trembled from the winter chill. Every birthday, she baked cakes and planned dinners, smiling through the fatigue. And every month, she tucked away a few $100s into her someday savings, a dream account she never spoke of. It was supposed to be for their 30th wedding anniversary trip, a once-in-a-lifetime vacation to the Maldives. She had seen a photo of those turquoise waters years ago and thought, one day, we'll go there. Not for anyone else, just for us. But life had other plans. It began with small things: Aaron forgetting their anniversary dinner, Maya asking for just a small loan to cover her new apartment deposit, Noah needing help with temporary expenses after quitting another job. Zara gave and gave again, telling herself that's what family meant. Every time she looked at her dwindling savings, she reminded herself that love was worth more than numbers in a bank account. Then came the year everything changed. Zara suffered what the doctors later called a warning stroke. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday morning. She was making coffee, listening to the news, when suddenly the mug slipped from her hand, shattering on the tiled floor. Her vision blurred, the room tilted, and she collapsed. When she woke in the hospital, her right arm felt like stone. The doctor spoke gently. "You were lucky, Mrs. Williams. If you'd come any later, the damage might have been irreversible. You'll need rest and time." Rest, time. 2 things she had never allowed herself. Aaron sat beside her bed, his expression more weary than worried. "You'll be fine, baby," he said, his voice mechanical. "The trip is already paid for. You just focus on getting better." "The trip?" she repeated, her words slurred. He explained that the Maldives vacation, her dream, had been booked months earlier, using her savings account. She stared at him in disbelief. "But I didn't approve. Maya helped me arrange it," he interrupted quickly. "You'd been talking about it for years. We thought it'd make you happy." Zara blinked, trying to process the words. "We?" she whispered. "Yes," Aaron said. "Maya, Noah, and I. We all chipped in. Well, mostly you, but it's for the family. Don't worry about anything. We'll take care of the trip. You just get well." When they left the room that evening, laughing lightly about flight schedules, Zara lay staring at the ceiling. Something inside her cracked quietly, not her body, but her belief. A week later, the family flew to the Maldives. She stayed behind in rehabilitation, relearning how to walk. A neighbor, Mrs. Grant, checked in daily, bringing soup and helping her with medication. "They'll be back soon," Mrs. Grant would say kindly. "They'll bring pictures and gifts. You'll see." But Zara didn't want gifts. She wanted recognition, gratitude, love that wasn't measured in transactions. Each evening, she scrolled through social media with trembling fingers. There they were, her family, smiling in the sun-drenched paradise she had paid for. Maya posing in designer swimsuits, captioning posts with their blessed in our Maldives life. Noah diving into blue water, beer in hand. Aaron grinning, tan, relaxed, a man who looked decades younger. Not once did they call her. Not once did they ask how therapy was going. When they finally returned home 2 weeks later, tanned and cheerful, they greeted her with the casual warmth of someone returning from a grocery run. "You look great, Mom," Maya said, hugging her lightly. Zara smiled faintly. "How was the trip?" "It was amazing," Aaron said, dropping his suitcase by the door. "You were right. We all needed that break." "We all needed that break." Zara said nothing. Her silence stretched like an invisible wall between them. That night, while the others slept, she called her notary. The months that followed were quiet but decisive. Zara sold her stocks, closed the joint accounts, and created new documents. Her savings, her pension, her assets, all moved discreetly into her name. She met with a lawyer, updated her will, and appointed a financial trustee, a young woman from her office who had once admired Zara's discipline. Meanwhile, Aaron began to complain about bills. "The mortgage feels higher," he said one evening. "Maybe you should check with the bank," Zara replied calmly. Maya asked for help buying a new car. "I'm afraid I can't," Zara said, voice flat. Noah wanted to borrow money for another business idea. "You'll have to manage," she answered. The family grew restless. They whispered among themselves. "She's not the same," Maya told Aaron. "She's distant," Noah added. "Maybe the stroke affected her mood," Aaron sighed. But Zara was more lucid than ever. For the first time in decades, she saw her life clearly, the pattern of giving, forgiving, and being forgotten. Spring came. One morning, she called them all into the living room. The air smelled of fresh tulips, sunlight spilling through tall windows. Zara sat upright, composed, her cane resting beside her. "I have something to tell you," she began. Her voice was firm. "I've decided to sell the house." "What?" Aaron's voice cracked. "I don't need it anymore. Too big for one person." "But where will we live?" Maya asked. "You all have your own lives," Zara said evenly. "Maya, your apartment downtown. Noah, your friend's couch. Aaron, I assume you'll manage." Aaron rose, face red. "Zara, what are you saying?" "This is our home." "It was," she said softly. "Now it's mine." They stared at her as though she had spoken another language. That evening, she packed only what mattered: her mother's old photographs, a few books, her laptop, and the silver bracelet she'd bought herself years ago but never worn. She moved into a small but elegant condo near the lake, her new sanctuary. In her solitude, Zara found something unexpected: peace. She joined a stroke survivors group at a local community center, where she met people who carried their pain with quiet courage. She began volunteering, helping others navigate the same recovery path she had once faced alone. Among them was Evelyn, a young mother of two who'd lost her husband in a car accident. "I don't know how to start over," Evelyn confessed one afternoon, tears in her eyes. Zara smiled gently. "You don't start over," she said. "You start different. You use what broke you as the foundation." Those words became her truth. Meanwhile, Aaron struggled. Without Zara's income, the household bills piled up. Maya lost her job at the agency and moved back temporarily, though Zara refused to let her stay in the condo. Noah's business failed, leaving him in debt. Slowly, their golden facade crumbled. One Sunday morning, Aaron appeared at Zara's door, older, thinner, guilt etched into every line of his face. "Zara," he began, "I made mistakes." "We all did. But can't we fix this?" Zara looked at him for a long moment. There was no anger in her eyes, only clarity. "Aaron," she said quietly, "you don't repair a house by repainting the cracks. You rebuild it. I've already started." He exhaled, defeated. "I never meant to hurt you." "I know," she said. "You just never meant to notice." Over the next few years, Zara's life transformed. She became a counselor for financial wellness and emotional recovery, teaching women how to rebuild independence after trauma. Her story spread not as a tale of tragedy, but of rebirth. Local media wrote articles titled, "From Betrayal to Balance, One Woman's Second Life." People came to her sessions seeking hope. She gave them honesty. "Sometimes," she told them, "you have to lose everyone to find yourself. Love isn't about what you give others. It's about what you refuse to take from them." Every morning, she walked along the lakeshore, the cane now unnecessary, her stride strong. Sometimes she'd see families laughing together and feel a pang of old ache. But it faded quickly, replaced by quiet pride. Years later, she received a postcard from the Maldives. It was from Maya. "Mom," it read, "I went back. This time I paid for it myself. You were right. Paradise doesn't mean anything when it's bought with someone else's effort." "I'm sorry." Zara smiled faintly, folding the postcard carefully. She placed it in her drawer beside her mother's photograph. "She finally learned," she whispered. That night, she hosted her recovery group at her home. As they shared their stories of illness, loss, betrayal, Zara listened, her heart steady. When one of them asked how she kept her strength, she answered simply, I stopped trying to be loved by people who only needed me, and started loving the person who needed me most, myself. The room fell silent. Then applause filled the air, not loud, but warm, sincere, healing. Outside, the moon cast silver light across the water. Zara stood by the window, feeling its calm glow on her face. For the first time in her life, she wasn't working for someone else's dream. She wasn't saving anyone. She wasn't waiting for gratitude. She had built something that couldn't be taken: peace, dignity, and freedom. And that, she realized, was worth more than all the trips in the world.